What up, everybody? We're back.
We
Saturday,
back.
half hour of horror. We're back. I'm so excited, man. I had a blast in San Diego. How are you doing, Chase? How was your week?
I'm doing good. It's been a busy week with work, but other than that, doing good, doing good. I did get to see Together on Wednesday, the new body horror film with Allison
How
Brie and Dave
was it?
Franco. Amazing.
Awesome.
Absolutely amazing.
That film has a little bit of controversy swirling around it. What do you know about
Because
that?
of I know it's someone accused, I think the screenwriters,
All of them, yeah, all of
yeah,
them.
plagiarism, and I know there's currently a lawsuit. I haven't followed it up too much.
Yeah,
We'll let them have their day in court till I
but the
make
movie was
a
solid.
movie. Was great.
Oh,
Oh
I
yeah,
love to hear that. Body horror is the best. I am always down for a good body horror movie.
kind of
Um,
making a comeback over the
Substance
recent few
started it.
years.
Yeah, I think the
I would
Substance really.
actually, I would say more Infinity Pool. Brandon Cronenberg's Mia Goth, Alexander Skarsgård. That kind of,
You're right.
because that kind of made some waves, and then you had Talk to Me, which came out a few months later, which had some body horror elements to it.
You're right. I loved his first two films, Brandon Cronenberg with Possessor, which is my favorite of the two, and then the
Fantastic.
incredible Infinity Pool. Like Infinity Pool is fantastic, but if people haven't seen Possessor, whoa, that messed with my head so good. I love his movies, and then and then the Substance, and it's just like body horror is having a comeback. I think people are into the ooey gooey and into the grossness. I mean, all hail the new flesh, right?
Oh yeah, he actually had a film that came out before those two called
Yeah,
Antiviral, which
antiviral.
pretty good. I
Okay.
mean, I think out of his three that he's done, the kind of body horror, yeah, because he's only done three films: Antiviral 2012, Possessor 2020, Infinity Pool in 2023. I would say Antiviral is definitely his weakest, but you could see kind of glimmers of what we
Mhm.
get with Possessor and Infinity Pool.
Well, before we dive into the water, pun intended, I want to talk a little bit about San Diego Comic-Con because it was a blast. I was
Yes.
out there from Wednesday to Sunday and had amazing panels. Our blasters and bracket panel, where we decided the best weapon in all of pulp culture. Green Lantern ring won, which was, that thing's OP as hell. Of course, it's gonna win in the hands of the right wielder. But it was a solid discussion. We had a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and then our Ghostface Killer Trivia horror panel was packed. Thanks to everybody who showed up. I mean, a couple hundred people showed up. That was hysterical. It was really a good time. As far as like the cool new stuff we're seeing, new Jasons are coming to NECA. That's exciting. Blaine from NECA, he let us in. He's like, I have a huge list of Jason figures, and I got 3 of them that are about to get knocked off. So yes, I'm excited about that. Predator was the big thing. Predator Badlands, obviously, there were tons of stuff about Predator Badlands going on. And it was interesting because every year, like the cosplay scene is really big at San Diego Comic-Con, and there's like you can see the waves. And a couple years ago, it was all about Negan. That was people in Negan costumes. The next year was all Deadpool. There's so many Deadpools. This year, surprisingly, there wasn't like a theme, but I saw a lot of people dressed as sinners. Like if you were in a 1920s ball gown covered in blood, I was like, sinners? And they're like, yeah, that was the popular costume. I mean, get a little fancy with it. A little evening gown, a little flapper dress, and some blood, you're set.
That's
We're not,
awesome. And I'm so happy to see the impact that film has
yeah,
made.
so good.
Just it's so good.
Yeah. But we're not talking about Sinners Day. We're talking about shark movies. And
Hell
so
yeah.
rarely is there a genre that didn't really start till 1975. Jaws, which is arguably the apex, one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
Is the beginning of the shark craze. Before this, there were sharks in movies, but it's usually like a scene in an adventure movie, like a movie called Kon-Tiki, which is sort of a documentary style movie about a guy on a raft going across the ocean. He gets attacked by sharks, but it's not the crux of the movie. Shark movies as a genre started in 1975 with Jaws. Jaws also created the blockbuster. Jaws is one of the most influential films in history. And when we say blockbuster, we mean lines around the block. Star Wars did definitely do it, but Jaws, 1975, just opened the gates for what a commercial success looks like. And it created shark mania, where people were afraid to get in the water. There was an uptick in killing sharks, which is bad. All these movies that make sharks this like villain that are scary, just want to say out front, sharks aren't the bad guys here. They attack us because we're in their space. They attack us because they don't have any food, because we're overfishing in their hunting areas. Sharks aren't the bad guys here, guys. But I do love a good shark movie. They're scary.
From my understanding too, with sharks, most of the time it's not like they're these man-eating creatures. From my understanding is most of the time they're just curious and they just bite to see the taste.
Yeah.
And they don't like the taste of human. And
yeah, they don't eat humans. They just chew them up real good. Just spit them out.
Yeah. Ugh, still scary. But yeah, like Jaws was really, like you said, the first blockbuster. My first job when I was a senior in high school was at a movie theater. Yeah. And we get a lot of regulars because it was down the road from a few neighborhoods. And we get like a lot of kind of elderly people that would come in every week, every other day, just to come see a movie. And they were cool. They would come and chat with us. And I'd heard so many people were like, yeah, like Jaws. They were talking about like, yeah, that was crazy. They said we had to wait weeks to be able to, because they said it was just the theater, every theater they go to were just lined up and it would sell out. And yeah, I mean, we really don't get that anymore, unfortunately.
no, because every town had one multiplex. Like it's the birth of the mall and the birth of the multiplex that kind of stopped that, because every town had one theater, and that one theater had one or two theaters. The multiplex, when you now have 17 movie theaters in one building, that didn't exist until the mid 80s, when malls became big and movie theaters got bigger. Gone are the days of like your movie house, like Grauman's Chinese Theater, or like a Majestic or something like that was like a fancy movie theater. Like they also had like operas here later. It's like that sort of thing that had a orchestra pit. That's gone now. That's only at your ballet. That's only at your opera house. You don't get that the same way you used to. And a lot of those theaters closed, which is a bummer, because like the Plaza, like I love that style. And that was, there was an elegance to it. And yeah, when Jaws came out and then later Star Wars, those were blockbuster events where people would go see the movie multiple times. And still didn't. It was nominated for a bunch of Oscars, but like, oh my gosh, what a heartbreak for Steven Spielberg. And I think Jaws did win a couple Oscars, but it didn't win Best Picture and didn't win Best Director, even though it was nominated.
Again, a rarity to see a horror film get nominated for Best Picture. Well, I know couple years prior, you had The Exorcist, which did get a Best Picture nomination, a Best Director nomination, and to this day, the only film to have ever won Best Picture at the Oscars, Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs,
only horror film to ever get that.
Love it. Well, and then later, I mean, is Shape of Water horror? It's got a horror wrapper, but it is a romance film.
Yeah. It's I would say it's more of a dark fantasy.
100%. I'd agree with that.
Than a horror film, but it has horror elements to it, but it's not it's first and foremost definitely a dark fantasy.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Trying to think. I mean, Jordan Peele did win for Best Writing, but I don't think Nope or Get Out won.
No. Nope wasn't even nominated.
Boo. But yeah, Jaws is insane. And Jaws is one of those movies that, like, what makes it so perfect is the characters. I got to interview Carl Gottlieb, who is the screenwriter of Jaws, with Steven Spielberg. And it's so interesting because he said when we showed up, the script was very different. Quint was he was a gruff sailor. But what we wrote, we suddenly realized, like, when we actually went out to the location and met real gruff sailors, we're like, oh, we got to throw out all this dialogue. And they had they went down and like hung out in bars with all these sailors, and that's where they sort of picked up the Quint character, and that's where Robert Shaw, who plays Quint, he would like disappear for days and hang out with these guys. And that's where he got the USS Indianapolis story, which we'll get to a little bit later. I want to talk about the USS Indianapolis. But yeah, Jaws is just an incredible film. The acting is so good. As we talked about in one of our last episodes with the with
Brianna
Morgan. Yeah, the book is very different. It does have a shark in it, but it's mostly about like the
allegory for infidelity
and male insecurities. That shark is an allegory for big old something else sleek and manly. Anyway, Jaws spawns like a whole bunch of spin-offs. I mean, not only shark movies like Mako, Jaws of Death, but like orca, piranha, grizzly, razorback, tentacles, grabbers, like a whole thing, a whole slew of like man versus animal. The Jaws spin-offs go nuts, and you know, all of them have their place and they're kind of fun, but like,
yeah,
Jaws is a good movie.
I would say Jaws is still the top of those kind of creature features, especially shark films, because as we're going to probably talk about later on, there are a lot of stupid shark films, but
thanks sci-fi.
Yeah. But I mean, we do have a few good ones. We do have a few fun ones. I have a few on my list. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, we still get some good, like kind of that man versus creature. Like the other week, you and me were messaging each other after I just recently watched Crawl for the first time with Barry Pepper in it. That was
sick movie, right?
So good. So good. But yeah, Jaws is really kind of still the bar that has not been reached when it comes to shark. But again, you have
insane
one of the I'm not even going to say one of, I'm going to say the greatest filmmaker in American cinema in history, Steven Spielberg. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to top that, but
it really is.
But I mean, again, we have gotten a few good ones, which I will bring up. But yeah, and even then, the sequels, none of them have even gotten near that bar. Nowhere near close to that bar that Jaws is.
Yeah,
it's a steady decline, and you know,
they progressively get worse.
Oh, yeah, it's not even like, you know, just kind of like it's
steep slide. Like Jaws 2 is okay, but makes no sense. Jaws 2 was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if? And they're like, yes, and they're right. It would be cool if. But none of it makes any sense. The shark does all these things that sharks can't do. It doesn't feel real. The shark is somehow worse looking than the first film, because Bruce the Shark doesn't look great. I'm going to come out and say it, but it doesn't matter because the movie's so damn good. Jaws 2 is when you start to go, man, that shark looks somehow worse. And they're like, yeah. And you're like, and the movie's somehow worse. And they're like, yeah. And you're like, all right,
that's
fine.
What happens when you don't have Steven Spielberg writing and directing.
And then you have Jaws 3D, which is the one that like I actually watched more as a kid because it was the one that my friends would. It's rough, really bad. Early VFX, like shitty comps. The shark swims backwards.
What was it? The shark busts the glass, and you see the water rush in.
Yeah.
But somehow, fucking Jaws is still floating.
Yeah, still, the full half of only his head's in the glass. The rest of it, he's just that strong. He's been doing some sit-ups. So bad. And then Jaws: The Revenge. Holy shit! With Michael
Caine,
which is hilarious because people are like, wow, that was terrible. And he's like, yeah, but the house I bought with that money isn't.
Fun story about Jaws: The Revenge.
Yeah.
Michael Caine, the year that was filmed and being filmed, he won his very first Oscar.
Oh my gosh.
He was not able to attend the ceremony because he was filming Jaws: The Revenge.
Oh my God. Michael Caine. Oh my God. Some men just want to watch the world burn. Yeah. Horrible movie. Jaws: Revenge is worse than some of these like trash sci-fi movies we're going to talk about, because it's not even fun. It's just boring and bad.
But I do have a fun little trivia
Yeah.
about Jaws. Of course, Aaron, we know the type of shark that Bruce is, that is featured in all 4 Jaw films, which is,
Great white.
but in the poster, the Jaws poster, and you might know this,
Yeah.
it's not a great white.
It's a bluefin? What kind
Short
is it?
fin, short fin mako shark.
Short fin mako, because he's got that pointy nose. Yeah. On the
And kind of the more
poster.
rigidy teeth.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now, and it's like, because I got the poster pulled up right here, and it's like, yeah, he's got the visible Rolodex of teeth, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah, because the short fin mako is like very pointed nose, where I think the great white is kind of more round.
yeah, great whites are definitely more. So yeah, there's obviously the poster that we all know and love. Yeah, that is and most famously, here's the thing: somebody was recently going through the Smithsonian archive of um, aquatic photography, and they found a picture, this very picture, and they were like, they looked into it, and sure enough, they used this photograph of a real shark for the poster of Jaws that they based it off of, and it's a apparently was like not a famous picture until very recently, where they found it and they're like, oh my gosh, it's the Jaws picture, and they looked it up, and sure enough, the person who made this poster referenced this photographer's work, and the real photos still in the Smithsonian archive, and
And of
it's
course,
cool.
yeah, and of course, this has been parodied numerous times. I've seen cats what says paws.
Yep.
Most also another famous one, Piranha 3D.
Yep.
2010's Piranha 3D was the poster for that was a parody of this. But yeah, it's just iconic, even though it isn't a great white, but but it just kind of really shows you what you're in for right before you watch it.
So it's really interesting. I don't think this movie actually came out in 1995, but later there was a film called Cruel Jaws that came out. Bruno Mattei. We've talked about Italian films before and how they can't make up their mind, and they are edited weird, and they have weird names. Sometimes it's called Cruel Jaws. Sometimes it's called Jaws 5. It is edited together from multiple other Italian shark films, but surprisingly a compelling movie. Makes zero sense and is very bizarre. But like, it was super funny because when I did a shark series during the pandemic, we watched all these shark movies, and we get to Cruel Jaws, and I'm like, wait a second. Wait, wasn't this that movie that had the secret medallion that summoned sharks? But where'd the medallion go? And you're like, nope, they just edited together all. It's just a Frankenstein film of shark movies. But surprisingly, they chose all the best parts. It's so bizarre.
Huh. What is it streaming on? I'm gonna have to check that out now.
Oh,
You got
Cruel
me curious.
Jaws. Oh, yeah. It's, what is it on? Screambox has it. Troma Now, of course. Troma's got it. Amazon Rent By. I don't think it's worth paying any money for, but it is hilarious because you watch it and you're like, I've seen five shark movies all together now, all at once.
Which it is worth probably checking it out on Screambox. I love Screambox. If you don't have Screambox, if you don't, this is a free little shout out. Screambox,
sponsor us. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, you guys follow me on Twitter, so I love you guys.
But like, the Jaws mania kind of burnt people out on sharks. There was a whole chunk, like in the late 80s to the early mid 90s, there wasn't a lot of movies that were crushing it. And it's not until what we call they call it a resurgence. I'll call it a resurface. In the early 2000s, technology becomes good enough that we can do a CGI shark pretty well. And thanks to Jurassic Park, Deep Blue Sea is kind of a knockoff of Jurassic Park, kind of.
Yeah.
And Deep Blue Sea comes out in the early 2000s. This is a Rennie Harlin film, comes out in 1999, and just crushes. I love this movie. I love any movie that has LL Cool J in it. I'm not ashamed to say it. I am a huge LL Cool J as an actor fan. I mean, he's known as being a rapper, but I like him in Toys, Deep Blue Sea. I like me some LL Cool J, and this movie does not disappoint.
He was even
When
fun in that god awful Rollerball remake. Like
hell
he
yeah,
was the best part of it.
oh my god, dude, I love this movie. When was your first? When did you see Deep Blue Sea? Do you like it? How do you feel about it?
This was probably one of the first R-rated films my parents let me watch. I remember it
Yeah,
was on HBO, and like it was one of those. My dad had watched it. He's like, "Hey Chase, come check this out." And I had a lot of fun with it. Of course, came out 1999. Of course, it's about researchers in an aquatic lab that are using sharks to find a cure for Alzheimer's, but it makes them smart and more predator like. Yeah. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It has, like, to me, when I first saw this was like some of the gnarliest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, I remember them swimming through the little tower thing as it was filling up with water.
yeah.
And I remember just the shark coming up and grabbing the woman, like, oh my god. And then
Samuel
Samuel
Jackson.
Jackson.
This is one of the best. I mean, spoiler alert: if you haven't seen Deep Blue Sea, what are you doing? Samuel Jackson's in this movie, and it's the return of Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson is like he's huge at this point. Pulp Fiction.
It was actually a joke around this time. Like, for our younger audiences, I know a lot of y'all probably know, yeah, he's a big actor, and a lot of y'all probably just know him as Nick Fury from the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Like, not even a joke. It was like from Pulp Fiction, I would say all the way to like the late 2000s. He was in everything. It was actually kind of a joke. It was even a joke on Family Guy. Samuel, they were in a they went.
He's like Pedro Pascal is now. He's in everything. He was the hottest ticket, and it was so funny because he's like, I've heard in interviews, he's like, I didn't really want to do it because I was riding high and I kind of just wanted to write. And they're like, you got to do it. You got to do a movie, man. You got to do it. And he said, okay, I'll do this shark movie. And then his agents were like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I don't have to be in it that long. So I'm in the movie. But then he's like, I got to get on set and I got to see the shark puppets and I got to meet the cast. And he's like, damn, I want to be in this movie. I don't want to die now. And he gives this amazing speech that rallies
motivational.
Yeah, Patton level speech. And all of a sudden the shark just jumps out of the water, just yanks him out, just out of nowhere, just snap, done. Awesome. I was a freshman in high school and I got to go see this in the theater and it rocked my world. This is one of the first DVDs I ever bought. I bought The Matrix, I bought this, and I bought Saving Private Ryan. And I was ready to go. Deep Blue Sea rocked my world. I just thought it was so fun. And still to this day, I think it still holds up as being fun. Shark bullshit aside, yeah, it definitely does not hold up to the science is real test.
It's turn your brain off.
Yep.
Turn your brain off. Just have fun with it. It's cheesy. It's gory in all the best ways. Like the cast, it's amazing. You got Thomas Jane, Saffron Burrows, Samuel L. Jackson, Stellan Skarsgård, LL Cool J. It's just so much fun, and I really highly recommend everyone watch it.
Go back and watch it. Just have the fun. There's a great moment where they try to airlift Stellan Skarsgård out because he got his arm bit off.
Oh, yes.
And the shark, the helicopter's picking him up and he's dangling from the rope and they're bringing him up. And then the shark jumps up and yanks the helicopter and him under the water. But he's got a mask on, an oxygen mask. So then they're in the lab and they're like, oh no, what's going on? Somebody goes, wait, what's that? And you just see the shark using Stellan Skarsgård in a stretcher as a battering ram to smash through the window. You're just like, and he's alive when it's happening. You're just like, all right. These movies ask you to believe a lot, but you know what? This movie, I give it to them. I give them everything they want from me. I'm here. But that sets off a whole bunch of new 2000 Sharkwave stuff, and it's great. We even get the pretty cool indie movie Open Water, 2003.
That's on my list too.
Yeah, which It's one of those movies like the Blair Witch.
Yeah.
It's not as good. It's a movie that is not as good as its popularity was for the moment. Because when it came out, people were like, "Whoa, holy cow!" But you go back and you watch it, it's like it's two people in like probably in a swimming pool going and then a fin goes past.
Right.
But
it's one of the. You're right. Like, because this was filmed in 2000, or this kind of like had like its small release in 2003. It kind of had a more wide release in late 2004.
Mm-hmm.
So this was my freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
And I just remember like this, you remember this too. This caused like a big stir. Like it was kind of like Blair Witch, just not as big as Blair Witch, but it was just one of those people who are like, oh yeah, this new shark movie. It's kind of like filmed camera, like video camera style, but it's not found footage.
It's filmed that way, but isn't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's about a couple going on a scuba diving trip with a big group. They get left behind, stranded in the middle of the ocean, and yeah, most of the movie is just them like floating what's probably a swimming pool. Like, oh no, what are you gonna do? They're gonna come back. Like that's most of the movie. Just them. What are we gonna do? We're gonna run out of oxygen soon. And then occasionally a fin would fly by.
and they end up both getting eaten by sharks. It's terrifying. But it hit this moment when like Blair Witch comes out and they want to make the lowest budget film they can, and this one worked. What was the one about the people trapped on the ski lift? Same thing. Like Blair Finn, yes. It shouldn't have worked, but like it's as small as a film could be.
Was it Frozen?
I think
not the Disney one, not the $1 billion Disney one. It's the I think it's called Frozen.
2010. Frozen.
Yeah. It's where they just get caught in a ski lift, and I think someone is just messing with them. Well, it's also kind of What's that?
And then they fall and the wolves attack. But it's the same genre. It's as small as possible. A couple of people trapped somewhere small. The movie that came out a couple years ago about the ladies who climb the tower and they get stuck up there.
Fall. I love
Fall.
That movie.
Sick, right? It's a very specific subgenre, but this one took sharks as opposed to. But it's like you are so isolated. Somebody forgot about you, and now you're trapped in a very tiny spot. And that is it's an undefined subgenre, and we could do a whole series on this, but it's like small group of people forgotten somewhere, now they're stuck, and top of a tower, on a ski lift, out in the water, whatever it is, but they're very low budget and they're very producible if you have the right actors and the right script to carry it.
Which, by the way, Aaron, going back to Deep Blue Sea, I want to thank you for reminding me that, because I don't have that in my collection. And I just bought that. So
right now, spending money
right now,
just flipping it up while we go. I love that. So it's like, you early 2000s, a couple of these pretty good movies come out. And as we know, if there's a good movie, not far behind it is a shitty movie. And sci-fi hits its stride in the early 2010s and starts making shitty shark movies. And it kicks it off with a movie called Sharktopus, which it's not bad. It is bad. It's terrible. But I really liked me some Sharktopus. That was one like we'd get friends together and Sharktopus comes on. We'd laugh our asses off. The CGI is terrible, but like somehow it worked. And then they were like, "Oh, you guys like shitty shark movies? Hold my beer." And they just do a slew of them. Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. Giant shark versus lava shark, whatever it is, shark spider versus giant bat. I don't know. They were terrible. They got progressively worse. But then 2013, they were like, how about Sharknado? And it was so bananas, and we ate it up and we loved it. And Sharknado is this movie that just becomes a phenomenon in its own right. And I think that's when people go, oh, you can make a movie that's so bad it's good, where Sharktopus just happened to be that. Sharknado was trying to be so bad it was good. Do you remember this time period of shark exploitation?
Yes. Fun fact, I've never seen a Sharknado film.
I
I've
don't
never
know if
seen a
I should
Sharknado
applaud you
film.
or go, "Oh, you should watch it."
But I do remember it was just memed to death
Yeah.
around that time. Like literally, it was just one of those people were just memeing the hell out of it, talking about it on Twitter, talking about it on Facebook. It was just like this big thing. Because again, like you said, like sci-fi around this time, it was like late 2000s to around that time. It was just shark exploitation.
Yeah.
It was like
Two-headed shark.
Sharktopus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Sharktoraptor. Like it was just
Oh,
like the
God.
most ridiculous stuff you could imagine. And that's what they were doing. Because again, I did watch some sci-fi around this time, especially around September, October, when they show a lot of horror films.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd be watching sci-fi, watching Halloween 2. And I'd see a trailer. This Saturday, Shark Crocodile versus Velociraptor. Like what?
Yeah. They're so goofy, but at the same time, like some of them have heart. I'll throw it out to the audience. Like, how do we feel about Sharknado? I'm always on the fence. Here's where I have to give it credit for. Sharknado gave people an appreciation for camp that that was underground for a long time. Like even my father-in-law is like, Sharknado is hilarious, and you're like, it is. My problem with Sharknado is that it knows it. It knows what it's doing. And something that makes some of these movies so fun is like they honestly tried to make a good movie and it's so bad that you're like, yeah, but you tried. There's heart behind it.
Yeah.
But like a film like Sharknado and a lot of trauma films, I applaud them for making the movie, but at the same time, they're like, we're making a shitty movie. So we have no standards. So like when you're like, yeah, that sucked. And like, what did you expect? Sharknado? And I get kind of annoyed when a movie knows it's bad and then doesn't care if it's good. Whereas a movie like I think the first Sharktopus was trying to make a legitimate movie and it just happened to be bad. When we watch movies so bad they're good, like people tried to make an actual Howard the Duck movie. That movie is just hysterically terrible. It's not their fault, but it just is what it is. And
it's like The Room.
Yes.
Tommy Wiseau's The Room. He was trying to make an Oscar-winning film. Like he kept it in theaters for 2 weeks in one theater just so it could be eligible because he thought it could get Oscar eligibility. But no, the movie's hilariously bad. And it's because it's gained a life of its own and a fan base of its own just because it's so bad. So when another movie,
go ahead.
Another movie that's like that, it's like they're trying to make a bad movie. Not Shark, but 2010's Robert Rodriguez's Machete. Like he was trying to make kind of an exploitation, kind of like something along like the lines of like the Charles Bronson. Yeah. Charles Bronson's kind of like old man revenge films with
Death Trap. Yeah.
He was also trying to make a good action film. Mm-hmm. When he did the sequel Machete Kills in 2013, he was trying so hard to make a so bad it's good movie.
Yeah,
that is almost kind of like the story got lost in the shuffle, and the movie was terrible.
Like,
God,
yeah. Like Hobo with a Shotgun is trying to make like a campy old classic grindhouse film,
but it has a good story.
Does.
That's actually a good one.
It's a great one, and it's like when you're trying to make a bad movie, you have to be so good at making the movie. It's not about making it bad. It's actually about making it as good as possible. You have to go all the way around. Whereas if you just tried to make a good movie, but you didn't have the budget to make a great movie, that heart can carry you full circle. But a Sharknado has to go all the way around from bad, so bad it's good. And that takes a lot of work, of work. And I don't know what the secret sauce is. And I like I said, I do applaud the Sharknado for bringing widespread sci-fi audiences to the camp, exposing them to camp, exposing them to the idea of so bad it's good, and hopefully getting them to watch other movies. One of the ones that came out in that era that I love, and this was hopping on the 3D craze, is called Bait 3D. And this is, I talked about it last week, and it's actually a pretty solid movie, but it's an Australian film. People trapped in a flooded supermarket and some sharks show up. It's great. You said you just watched this one?
So I watched this last night because I've heard you mention this
Yes.
before. So I was kind of sitting there last night watching it. By the way, it's on Tubi.
Oh yeah,
So Tubi, sponsor us.
crushing it over at Tubi.
Yeah, thanks to Tubi, I actually watched another film, which I'm sure we're going to talk about probably next. I don't know. But yeah, Bait 3D I watched, and I'd heard you mention it when we had talked, because we've been talking about doing a shark
Yeah.
episode for months now, and you had mentioned several times Bait.
Yeah.
So I
It's my
finally
hidden
did.
shark gem. Yeah.
So I was kind of sitting there watching it, and there's a scene in the beginning where a guy is like on a surfboard, and as soon as the scene happened, I was like, I know why Aaron loves this, because you mentioned several times before on the show you love watching films from like the late 2000s to like mid 2010s where everything was 3D.
Yeah.
Like everything had the 3D tagline on it, and you said you love it because they didn't release it on home media or streaming on 3D, so it's the CGI just didn't.
Yeah. If
age well.
I love a 3D movie that isn't in 3D anymore because they do the gimmick, which is so stupid. I mean, it started with Friday the 13th 3D where they're like, have a joint. And you're like, it's not 3D. So the scene is just like, what are they doing? Why are they looking at me like that? Why are they holding that so funny? Like, why is that angle so direct?
And then it kind of got revived in like 2008, 2009. I would say the big one was Avatar. That kind of revived the 3D craze. I mean, of course, before that, we had My Bloody Valentine 3D and a few others scattered, but like, it's just so funny. And we've mentioned on the show before, there's so many movies that you see from around this time where it's like, you look at it and like, that's how you do 3D. This is how you do it. Avatar is one of them, but where it could work as 3D or 2D.
Yeah.
Then you get something like Bait, which is just so bad in 2D.
It really is. But there's a couple moments in Bait, and let me know if you agree. Like when they're trapped in the parking garage and the shark's in the trunk, like pretty good scene. Like it's intense. Like they did. And like I love when they build the like diving suit out of shopping carts.
Yeah.
It's
at the end of the day drowning.
Yeah, at the end of the day, did you have fun? Was this a fun shark movie?
It was fun. Yeah. I had a lot of fun. Of course, nice seeing Julian McMahon, who we sadly just recently lost. Rest in peace. Yeah, kind of Australian cinema icon. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I had a lot of moments with bad CGI, some moments with good CGI.
Yeah.
And yeah. I mean, I liked it. You got basically this, if you don't know the story, a group of criminals are robbing a supermarket. In the middle of the robbery, while it's at the stick up, a tsunami hits and basically floods the entire area, including the supermarket, and sharks who were in the ocean are now inside the supermarket terrorizing the robbers and the customers inside.
And you don't know who the robbers are, and you don't know who's the good guys, you don't know the bad guys, but you do know that the sharks are going to eat you, and it's fun. Like again, after I had been watching Cruel Jaws and Lava Tarantula versus Octoshark, like this hit right. This was a good one. In a sea of terrible shark movies, this one was kind of like, oh, some people do want to make good shark movies still. That's fun.
And then, of course, another one I watched last night, and you recommended it. It is a Sci-Fi Channel film.
One of my all-time favorite shitty movies.
On Tubi. Tubi.
Yeah.
Go Shark.
Oh, the Griff first masterpiece. So many people. So here's what the crux is. Somebody posted a meme, and it was like, today you could have 50% of your funding on an A-list actor, your full script written, and you go to the studio and they're like, it's just too early for us. But then in the 90s, you could be like, 2 words, Ghost Shark. And they're like, do you want it in cash or cocaine? And I was like, whoa, Ghost Shark is a fantastic film, piece of cinema. And then I went into why Ghost Shark's one of my favorite shitty movies. And so many people watched it. I got so many texts this week because we were talking about Ghost Shark. My mom watched it. A bunch of my followers on Instagram watched it. And they were like, what have you set me on? This is ridiculous. Ghost Shark starts with a shark who gets brutally murdered. And he becomes a ghost. I mean, the plot is that simple, and he starts killing people in the water, glowing water. Shark kills a couple people.
It's not even just the ocean.
Yeah,
like his soul can transfer into like a swimming pool, excuse me, a bathtub, water streaming from the shower, rain, a cup of water, which happens, a bucket filled with water, which fire hydrant, which has my favorite scene in the film where they're trying to get these kids playing at a fire hydrant away, and then they start running, and the ghost shark comes and eats them, and you just see like you could tell they green screened it. You see like their bottom halves just walking around.
The shark just comes out of the fire hydrant, eats the kid, and it's just his legs going like and he falls down. A kid jumps on a slip and slide, and he's going into this like rubber shark. On slip and slides they have like a little like tunnel that you'd go through, but then the ghost shark comes out of the shark tunnel and eats the kid. At one point they're at a museum trying to find out the mystery of the ghost shark from like some Native American burial ground bullshit, however ghosts show up in movies. It's standard, but then a fire sets off the water sprinklers and the room starts to flood and the ghost shark starts coming out of the floor. At one point this guy drinks this little cup of water from the drinking fountain and splits in half, and the shark comes out of him.
The best part of that scene isn't that. To me, it's like, because it's a detective, he's getting a cup of water and he's like, and then you see him rip in half and the ghost shark pop up. The best part are his fellow detectives are just kind of looking like not even scared. They're just like,
they're like, what's wrong with this guy?
Why
is he acting like
sharks? And then even after he splits in half and you see the shark, they're just still like, and after he falls on the ground, they just turn back around. Like,
at one point they're at a party. And this kid's like, hey, you're ruining my party. He's like, yeah, now I'm doing a gainer at your party. And he does a backflip off the diving board and Ghost Shark goes and just bites him. And like everywhere these kids go, like one of them, their dad's the sheriff or whatever. Everywhere they go, people are dying and nobody believes them. Nobody believes Ghost Shark. And then it ends in the culmination of a rainstorm and all these ghost sharks are falling from the sky and he's popping out of the water and trying to eat them. And they're trying to do an exorcism on the corpse of a dead shark. I'm making it sound awesome, I know, but it is a terrible movie, but it's so bad. I love it.
My favorite part is the main girl is going into the cave and it's like, I think her sister and her boyfriend. They're like trying to avoid the ghost shark. So they're like jumping around. And then like if the puddle they're standing on starts lighting up, they're like, whoa. And it's just like that for like 5 minutes. They're just jumping from puddle to puddle.
I fucking love Ghost Shark. I got to meet the editor of Ghost Shark. I worked with her, Misty Talley, and I got to interview the director of Ghost Shark. And he was like, I'm just glad somebody cares. Nobody cares about this movie. We're like, we love this movie. And interviewing him was hysterical because he's like, yeah, I had no money and I just wanted to make something fun. So I had like puppets. And he's like, we shot it with literally no money. And just, we made the best ghost shark movie we could about a dead shark. And I was like, that's how you do it. And it's just so funny because nobody, very rarely do people see this movie. And the fact that it's on Tubi now just makes me really happy because you could not find this movie for the longest time. I had like an illegal, like rip from Taiwan is how I had this on DVD, but now you can see it on Tubi, which is fantastic.
Funny thing is when I posted our announcement for the episode theme on Thursday night, our producer, Mike, actually replied on Twitter. He's like, are you guys talking about Ghost Shark?
Yeah.
And talk
We are
about Ghost Shark.
gotta talk about Ghost Shark. I don't know why it just hit me just right, and it just became me and my roommate at the time, Matt, just became one of our all time favorite movies, and we just anytime somebody talks about so bad it's good, this is my go to. Like, oh, you haven't seen Ghost Shark? Let me hook you up. The acting's terrible.
Oh,
The
it's awful.
the effects are of their budget, but he does a lot with nothing. I mean, like it's obviously a hand puppet shark that they painted with some foam and some blood, but like the ghost effects do what they do and they serve the story. And at the end, I believe in Ghost Shark.
Yeah, and this here's the thing though. We were just ripping on the later two, the Jaw sequels.
Yeah.
And here we are praising Ghost Shark because of how bad it is. The difference between, something like the Jaw sequels
Yeah.
and Ghost Shark is something like Ghost Shark has no budget.
Yeah.
It's a part of its charm is the fact that it's so bad. And you could tell they were trying, where something like the Jaw sequels, it's just big budget studio bullshit. They just want money. Where
Cash
Ghost
in.
Shark, they're actually trying to do something. Like they're
Yeah.
actually trying to make a film with whatever resources they have. With Jaws 3D, Jaws Revenge, it's just
Yeah, cash in. Just trying to cash in on the name Jaws, just like the Italians.
yeah.
Uh, and sci-fi ran its course, and they did a great job, but they they overdid it. By the time we get to a movie like Ice Shark, which had a better script but had even smaller budget than Ghost Shark, but I kind of liked it. I don't know why. You were running out of steam, and you see sci-fi kind of collapse under its own weight. But then some like more good movies came out. Like later on, you get sort of a resurgence with things like 2016's The Shallows.
Actually, that was next step on my list.
Yeah,
The
man.
Shallows.
What do you think about The Shallows?
Oh, I love it.
So good.
Shallows, 2016, Blake Lively. I saw this in theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is really good. It's again simple premise. Girl gets trapped in some rocks, and a man-eating shark is stalking her every move, and she's trying to figure out a way to kind of get off where get away from where she's trapped. And yeah, I mean, with the whole shark craze, we don't really get a lot of shark movies now. Because again, I think it has to do with something you said when we did our werewolf episode, why we don't get a lot of werewolf films anymore. It's expensive to do them practically.
Yeah.
And if you do it CGI, you better make it look good and not make it look like shit. And I think that's the thing. But yeah, The Shallows is a very solid film. Again, smaller budget. You could tell the budget was put towards the shark and the location.
Yeah.
And Blake Lively, of course, she's a big name. And yeah, I feel like this is a good one. And this is another one you're probably going to see me buying on Amazon here in a few minutes.
This was a really good one. Really good. But I think you just hit the nail on the head. It's very easy to make a bad shark movie. A CGI shark model is not expensive. I bought like 10 of them for $100. It is not hard to make a shitty shark movie. It's really hard to make a good shark movie. And I will always go back to this. Bruce the Shark didn't look good, but the plot was so good you didn't care. Whereas you have a movie like, like The Meg, where the shark looks great. I mean, that is high budget CGI, but the movie's kind of bad, but it's having a good time. So you're like, there's a balance here. It's hard to make a good shark movie because you need a lot of money for CGI or shark puppets or shark robots, as the case was for Deep Blue Sea. Or you can make a shitty shark movie for very little, but how good is your plot going to be? And, are you going to make a ghost shark? Or are you going to make a Sharknado? What does it end up becoming? That is hard. That era, you have The Shallows, The Reef, 47 meters down. There's like back to back very similar shark movies. All of them competent. I think The Shallows is probably the best of them, but like
Yeah,
I enjoyed
absolutely.
47 meters down was pretty good too. Girls in a shark cage get trapped underwater because the chain breaks and the shark cage is stuck at the bottom and they're running out of air and they're running out of, they're trapped. The sharks are breaking through the cage. Solid disaster film with doing a lot with very little. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't see that one, but I did see The Reef. I actually watched that, finished that about an hour before we went live. Very solid. A boat flips, and by the way, I just bought The Shallows.
I'm just boosting up your collection as we go, man. It's fliff night here on the half hour of horror, and Chase is spending.
Damn it, I'm spending too much money. Yeah, of course, with The Reef, it's an Australian film. People are going on a boating, with a group of friends. The boat ends up flipping.
Yep.
And they have to find a way to survive. And in the meantime, a shark is after them. Yeah, very solid film. And of course, most recently, not really a horror film per se, or not horror. I mean, excuse me, a shark film per se, but I would say it's a combination of shark and serial killer horror. Dangerous Animals, which came out just a few months ago on Shudder.
Crushing it. That movie, yeah. Well, again, like, yes, it's a shark movie, but only because it's his method of murder. It's a serial killer movie with sharks, and it bridges that well, but the performances carry it, and that just goes to show you, like, to have a good shark movie, you really need somebody who can carry it, because that shark isn't delivering the lines. It's going to be the people that really make it.
Exactly. Again, the same thing goes back to Jaws. You have Roy Schneider, Robert Shaw, Richard Dreyfuss, all excellent actors, carried that film. Deep Blue Sea, you have Samuel L. Jackson, LL Cool J, Thomas Jane, Saffron Burrows. The Shallows, Blake Lively is pretty much, for 90% of the movie, it's just her and the shark.
Yeah.
And she carries it just with her performance. With Dangerous Animals, you got Jay Courtney just playing an absolute psychopath.
Crushed it.
So good.
Yeah. So good. That movie was a lot of fun. That was a solid one. Before we're getting close. I'm going to run. Obviously the Meg was a big hit for theaters and a big theatrical one. For those of you who like D&D and Savage Worlds and RPG games, one of my favorite that I play is called Trailer Park Shark Attack. And there is a movie called Trailer Park Shark. And the game that I play is like, it takes all the bad shark movies and merges them into one. And I even built a shopping mall, a flooded supermarket map to get to play bait. But I love Trailer Park Shark Attack, the Meg. Recently there's a horrible Nazi exploitation shark movie called Sky Sharks that delivered.
God,
it is so cheap, but like watching it, I'm just like, yes, please. Nazis flying robot sharks attacking planes. I'm here. Devour me, shark movie. Sky Sharks. It's like one guy doing all the CG by himself, and it was so solid. And again, somehow we did a review of it, and somehow the filmmakers were like, we had no idea anybody cared. Thank you for enjoying our crappy little shark movie. And we were like, thank you for making a ridiculous exploitation film with sharks that fly. There's one that came out that I watched this week. It's just okay, but the premise is actually worth putting it on. Whether you finish it is up to you. But it's called No Way Up, 2024. It is a people are stuck in a plane that crashed underwater, and somehow the plane isn't filling up with water as fast as you think, and sharks start getting into the plane. This is what happens when producers are like, you have a plane set that I can film on? Yeah. All right. We'll get some cameras down next week. Do you have a script? Yeah. No, we'll figure it out. And they just like start shooting a movie. It's obvious that they had no clue what they were going to do with it, but sharks on a plane. Let's go. It has a 1.8 on Letterboxd. I think it's better than a 1.8, but it is not much better than 1.8. But premise alone.
Letterboxd, people are harsh.
Harsh.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Somebody I follow, Helen, on here, she says, I have absolutely watched worse shark movies. 100% correct. That is it's one of those movies that I was like, I like this premise. It's not a good movie, but I have watched worse shark movies. I've watched worse shark fighting, worse other Frankenstein animal movies. They're terrible. But yeah, that do you have any more shark films before I talk about the USS
Oh,
Indianapolis?
I have pretty much knocked about everything on my list.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, Ghost Shark. It's if you're in the US and you go on Tubi, it's free. Watch Ghost Shark. It's hilarious. And if you have Shutter, watch The Reef. That was really good. And then whenever Dangerous Animals comes out on streaming, I think it's only available to rent. Yep, it's only available to rent right now. So if you have the funds for it, that's one of my favorite films of this year so far. Again, part shark, part serial killer horror film. And if you have Shutter, yeah, watch it whenever it drops on Shutter.
Do not watch a movie called Frankenshark. It is a porno. But it doesn't tell you that till you start watching the movie. Then you're like, whoa, oh, well, here's I guess we're watching this. Yeah, don't watch that. Frankenshark's basically a porno. There's two Frankensharks. One has a cool Franken puppet, but is a terrible movie. The other one is just a porno, but is not advertised as such. Shark Kansas Women Prisons Massacre is a great title, but again, just a porno. So I mean, you do you, but what a great title though, Shark Kansas.
I want to know how you found. I want to know how you found these. Were you just something you?
I watched every. It was 2020. It was the pandemic. I had nothing to do, and I watched every shark movie I possibly could. Holy cow!
Just like, oh, what's this? Wow,
so
why
many.
is this?
Yep.
Oh, cool shark movie. Oh, wait, there's a dick.
Oh God, there's a movie called Dick Shark, which actually is renamed as Frankenshark when they repackaged it, but it was originally called Dick Shark, and that was the porno that it became. And terrible, just not even a good movie, just awful. And I'm sad. I'm always sad that Frankenshark, dope name, awesome. We need a good Frankenshark, and it's been taken sullied by the porno industry. But hey, man, I don't know. I'm not going to knock people for making some money. So those are the bad movies. I want to talk about the USS Indianapolis really quick because in Jaws, one of the most famous scenes. One of the most famous scenes is when Robert Shaw talks about being on the USS Indianapolis. 200 men go in the water, 80 men come out. You see the eyes roll back like doll's eyes. So this is a real disaster. The U.S. Indianapolis is a battleship. It is going a secret mission going across the Atlantic Ocean. It is bringing the parts for the bomb that they are going to drop on Hiroshima. It delivers the bomb parts and it heads back to the United States. But midway through, gets hit by a Japanese plane, and it gets hit with a depth charge, blows up, and 200 men go in the water. And it is one of the most awful maritime disasters of all time. And Nick Cage made a movie about it. Bad.
I was gonna say I just looked it up, and it came out in 2016. USS Indianapolis, Men of Courage, and this was during Nicolas Cage's kind of early to late 2000s straight to video era of his career before his recent resurgence with Mandy and Renfield and Longlegs, stuff like that, where now he's kind of this indie darling. So yeah, I was actually looking at that. So don't watch. Okay.
Yeah. Don't watch the Nick Cage one. I mean, if you are a diehard Nick Cage completist, go for it. But it is not a good representation of what the movie is, of what this disaster is. The best place to find out about this, not to pimp another podcast, but Last Podcast on the Left, one of their best series they ever did was the USS Indianapolis. They deal with it with humor. It's funny, but also really dark. So the men in the water, you're baking alive in the water. The oil around you is burning your flesh because it's an oil spill that is thousands of miles long. Some of them are on life rafts. Some of them are stuck in ropes. The sharks start eating them. They banded together, kicking the sharks away. But then, like, some guys would get sucked under. The men started to hallucinate, and they were like, "There's a hotel underwater. We gotta go. Let's just swim down there. We can stay there. Be totally chill." And they'd swim down underwater and drown. Just madness. Men would scream into the night until a boat rolled over one of the guys in the life rafts. And they're like, "What happened?" And then they'd topple the boat over and sink the boat just to try and climb on top of it. Just nightmare level stuff. They get rescued. Some of the ones who survive, they pull them out of the water and their skin starts falling off. Because if you spend any amount of time longer than a day in salt water, your skin starts to fall off. At the end of the series, they say this: the only reason we know about this is because men lived. Every boat that ever sank, this is what happened. The boat didn't just sink and all the men died. The boat sunk and every man on that boat floated in the water until they died, drowned, or were eaten by sharks. And that happened to from pirates, the Romans, Vikings. If your boat capsized, you spent days reenacting open water. And I'm just like, oh, I never thought about that. I never thought about it. You're just like, oh yeah, the boat sank and everybody on board died. No, you spent days drifting until you died. And this is the only one where people were rescued. Holy cow. Dark shit, guys.
Jesus.
Isn't that messed up? That blew my mind to be like, oh yeah, it isn't just all hands on deck. It isn't like the Titanic. Like, a bunch of people floated around in the Titanic, but they were rescued fairly quickly. Luckily, there was a ship nearby that rescued them, but they would have suffered the same fate, just floating around until they died. But like that, it blew my mind how big the ocean is and how dark and deep it can be. But yeah, go watch some shark movies to watch that dark taste out of your mouth. Go watch Ghost Shark.
Go watch Ghost Shark.
Go watch Ghost Shark on Tubi. Yeah, man, give some plugs.
Before I get my plugs, so yeah, we've been doing video stream. Of course, we started out on X. Well, you've been doing this long before I had, and then I joined on, and we've been doing video stream for a year now. And yeah, just the last few months have just really been awesome. We've done some awesome topics, covered some awesome guests. So before I do my plugs, I do want to do a quick thank you, of course, to everyone who have been watching us, new, old. Yeah, thank you, everybody. And of course, thank you to people who we've had on guests the last few months, like Jenna. I've seen Jenna from the Craft Witch,
Jenna,
Kelly Maroney, Brianna Morgan, Tracy from Scarlet and Graves. Yeah, Chris Carlson,
yes.
Abby Cobb, Scholar Gaetano. I think I mentioned Kelly Maroney, Jesse Towns. But yeah, it's been an awesome few months. So yeah, thank you everyone who's been joining us as guests. Thank you everyone who's been watching us.
Oh, Pat and Mike Lothar from BOH family.
Yes. Pat and Mike. And then of course you can see me here every Saturday with you, Aaron, on Half Hour of Horror. You can follow me on Instagram, Letterboxd, Blue Sky, and X. I get lost to how many damn social medias there are. At HHOH Chase, and TikTok, which is my kind of really been picking up, at HHOH Chase _.
Hell yeah, TikToker. You can follow me. I basically only do Instagram at McLean and Abel, and then on my other show, the Launchpad Podcast. You can check out our interview with Griff First, the director of Ghost Shark, where he's just happy that somebody cares. And we're like, do you have any stuff from Ghost Shark? He's like, I got the foam model. If I touch it, it'll fall apart. And we're like, oh, that's cool. I'd ask you to send it to me, but it's probably going to break. Yeah, guys, here, Half Hour of Horror. I'm about to head out to Boston for season 3 of Dead City. Super excited to go back out and make some more Walking Dead stuff. Always fun. But until next week, guys, it's been the Half Hour Horror. We got to give away some blood coin. I
Yes.
almost forgot. That would have made me sad. Whoa, what should the blood coin word be?
One word.
One word.
Ghost shark.
One word ghost. Okay, yeah, here we go. One word, ghost shark. Capitalize both the G and the S. Throw that up there. Get yourself some blood coin. We have some awesome stuff happening at the Block of Horror. We've been doing a lot of renovations. We have some new activities coming. The circus is coming to town, guys. That's the tease I'm going to give you. But yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. We'll do some more stuff, and coming in October, obviously, we're going to be doing Blocktoberfest, which is going to be really exciting. So there we go. Follow us on all things with Block of Horror. We're on Discord. We're on all the social medias at BOH. So
TikTok. They're on TikTok too.
Ooh, I bet our faces pop up on TikTok all the time. With
all the time.
some nice choice bits of me getting excited about Ghost Shark. So yeah, check it out then. Until next time, guys. Yeah, really appreciate you guys hanging out with us on a Saturday. But here we go.